me ask you, when it comes to waste management
Yes.
in Kenya, in Nairobi, when you finish eating your packet of whatever,
Yes.
you've gone to the supermarket, you've done shopping, bought your maize, I don't know, your aflatoxin.
Yes.
You have bought your metasulfite, your mercury. That's bread, eggs, and milk. And then you've taken it home. You've cooled. You've taken that paper bag. You've thrown in the dustbin. You've ordered a pizza. The box has come. You've thrown it there. You've gone to I don't know what. You have some things from a packet. You throw in the dustbin. Then what do you do next after it has jarred in your dustbin? What do you do next?
Kama nilinunua TV, neka hiyo garbage yote kwa jirani. Ndio wagonjwa kikuja waende kwake.
But like in terms of waste collection in
our estate we have a different type of waste management system. So yote tunaekanga together in a garbage bag, then we take it downstairs, then the caretaker makes sure that there's a car that comes twice a week. Inaingizwa kwa hiyo lori aujuange takataka ine.
So you don't even know where your garbage is going?
No, we don't know.
Which is the beauty about living in the city of Nairobi, because you never have to think about where the garbage is, especially in your estate, until you drive outside the estate and you say, oh, hapo ndio waliwacha hiyo takataka. But it's none of my business because mimi niliwacha kwa
garbage bin.
So we've got Sally. Sally is works for Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and Kenya Association of Manufacturers has a very interesting initiative around waste management. Hi, Sally.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well.
So you've heard. This is how Nairobians we deal, and most people in the country, this is how we deal with garbage.
Yes.
You know that there's a truck that's going to come and collect it. But let's enlighten Brian. After the truck has gone, because I know they moved from Dandora dump site. So does all garbage move to one dump site?
It ideally should, or rather, that's the way the system is set up.
Yeah.
It's for the entire city's garbage to go to one dump site. But as you said, that's not where it ends up. We find it all over the place.
Because I've seen
other than the dump site.
I've seen it outside his apartment.
But that's also because the dump site is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When you think about when the dump site was developed many years ago, it wasn't for catering for the population that we have right now. That also continues to increase. So the dump site is overwhelmed. So kiona when takataka ends up wherever but the dump site is because of that reason. The dump site is overwhelmed.
So these guys who come, we pay them money.
Yes.
Instead of them telling us now we have to find a new dump site, then they're just collecting because Brian doesn't care where the garbage is going. He just goes and buys, does not care about where the plastic or the garbage is going. And so in terms of in the fact that Kenya Association of Manufacturers has decided to be involved in waste management and not NEMA seated in your seat, it means that we must be in a bit of trouble.
The thing is, when it comes to waste, and especially because it's become now a global conversation, everywhere you look, everybody's like, oh my God, what are we going to do about our oceans? And everybody is really panicking about climate change, and as well we should, because it's become a real issue. But as long as there's human life and human activity, there's always going to be waste.
So us guys were just garbage.
So that's... So we're always going to produce. It's like it's always the end product of what we do in our lives. As you said, during the day you've eaten. The end product is going to be either your bodily functions or whatever you've eten from the thing that was packaging your food. So NEMA is doing its part, but we can't leave it to things about health and waste are too important to leave to one government agency. So as a country, we need to now start thinking, how are we going to get involved? How is everyone going to get involved?
All right.
So
we've got Sally from Kenya Association of Manufacturers. It's time you get involved. Do not touch her there. When we come back, she's going to tell us about their initiative and why you waste manager, why you need to manage your own waste.
Vybez Radio, we rule the nation in this generation.
Play right here on Vybez Radio, the home of reggae all across Africa. #1 audiovisual reggae station in Africa. 27 minutes to 9 a.m. And I want to ask this question to both Sally and Brian. Welcome to Kenya. If you were to tell someone welcome to Kenya and they ask you, what is good in Kenya? What would you tell them? Kai. You guys.
Party after party. Party after party.
There's so many amazing. Oh my God. The people,
definitely.
But you guys sound like you work for Magical Kenya. Let's be real. The things that I love about Kenya.
Yes.
Friday. Let me tell you, if I had a trip that I needed to leave the country on Friday, it's tough. I have to leave on Thursday. Friday, ukitembea tu Kenya, anywhere, the vibe is just right. People talk to you different on Friday. We wake up tomorrow and see how people say hi to you. Hey, Sally! Meet that same person on Monday. Kenya has like an amazing energy on Friday. Like people just, that people put us away their problems and just embrace the weekend, Also, I like the fact that, we take things in stride. Like when we're going through tough times, Kenyans just crack jokes.
Yeah, we laugh at ourselves.
Problems,
we laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, there's so many amazing things. What makes you happy to be Kenyan? Or forget be Kenyan. Yes. What makes you, like, if someone was coming from Tanzania saying, nimechoka hapo baba, nataka nikuja hapo Kenya, nini kuzuri?
People are friendly in terms of they can really unaweza kwa let's say even kwa restaurant utengeneze ubeshte juu ya I don't have a place to sit, then this guy has sat by himself, then just like that people are so friendly. Yeah, you can sit with a stranger.
Alafu atakwambia wacha niende hapa kwa choo nakuja.
Na simu yako.
Akuache na bill.
Not everywhere.
Sally, you got to say something.
I was going to say, really, you said magical Kenya, but really the spirit of the people. Yeah. I mean, the fact that there was a phrase, I don't know if I can say it on radio, but there was a phrase that almost thank you. That phrase almost became global. I mean, what is that? What is that? You go to London, you shout to Mlambez, and there's almost always going to be a guy who responds. That kind of spirit is so amazing. I think that's really Kenyan.
Aside from spirit, I think also the spirit of innovation. I think Kenyans we're such innovative people. I told guys a story of a Maasai boy who even did a TED talk where he was taking care of his father's animals, and then there was a lion that used to come into the village, and then he decided he made this Kalite thing, because they used to take turns to watch. Imagine you're not sleeping, you're taking turns to watch and scare the lion and still make it in, So he created a small boy, I think he was 11 at that time. He invented something. We've seen a guy inventing a plane. While you sit there, we've got a lot of problems. KQ is just launching. KQ should be turned into a submarine. launching. Shares are always underwater. So you can imagine a guy in Isamusha go somewhere. Atengeneza kiplane. Kenyans tengeneza a car BJ50. We are such amazing, interesting, entrepreneurial, innovative people. But how we celebrated? Do we create spaces where Kenyans can be able to become innovative? Even with waste management, there's a lot of innovativity in that space.
That's true.
So tell us about waste management ideas or initiatives from Kenya Association of Manufacturers.
So one of the things that we're doing is we're working with the Ministry of Environment and NEMA. We are trying to create or develop take-back schemes for manufacturers and extended producer responsibility.
What's
schemes.
take-back schemes?
So take-back schemes is that scheme that allows you as a manufacturer to see where your end product ends up at the end. So if I'm manufacturing sugar, at the end, your karatasi umeweka iyo sukari, where does it end up, and how can it come back to me? And how can it go back to the or how can I take it to the recyclers? So just to create a value chain around waste, so that there's a way that somebody can collect, somebody can segregate, along the way somebody can transport and then get it to back to the manufacturers if it's a bottle or whatever, something that can be reused, or to a recycler that can turn it into something else.
Because most of the waste is non-biodegradable.
Yes.
Which means I was reading some stats, like something like, a pen cover. The one when you buy a pen,
you kula.
I don't. But that pen cover can outlive you.
Yeah.
Like, as in you can be buried and 100 years later it's still there. And so when we start thinking of waste like that, then we start thinking, imagine as an individual, have you ever thought of calculating how much waste you remove in like a week? I'm talking about human waste. I'm talking about like the things that you buy, you consume. You don't think about where it's going. Do the manufacturers think about that waste?
They do.
Are they given do they think of, you guys, our bottles, sometimes I see them on the road, you guys, we can be better, or you guys, Gava has said we have to think about this?
No, they do. They do think about the waste, and that's one of the reasons why we are partnering with these institutions. Because the thing is, we have to create a way for people to also find value in waste. If we say we are going to do it as industries alone, as in where's the infrastructure coming from? So that's why we are partnering with government. But if the infrastructure is there, then where are the actors coming from? They are coming from different places in the community and different agencies and different associations and residents. So these are all actors in the getting that bottle from Naivasha Road to back to a recycler or back to my industry as Coke for me to reuse. You know, because the fact that it can outlive you means that it can actually be a useful material forever and ever. That should be a good thing. But it's a bad thing because there is no proper disposal management. So once it's out there, there's no way of tracing my bottle left industrial area and now it's in Kirinyaga County. How do I track that bottle and bring it back to industrial area? Where's the infrastructure? Where's the transport? Who are the actors that are going to get together to bring this bottle back to me and in turn add value to themselves in terms of economic empowerment and add value to the environment?
Are we losing cash as a country from poor waste management?
I think we are losing very great opportunities. Very great opportunities.
And with the introduction of devolution, are you guys also planning to expand waste management to other areas? Because right now I'm thinking of a place like Wajir, a place like Huko Marsabit. Are you planning to assist them in terms of waste management, or tunasema watu wa Nairobi ndio uchafuanga environment sana, so hao ndio will focus on sana?
Actually, you know, our focus is a lot on working with county governments. We've actually reached out to the county government of Kajiado, and there's something that we are doing with them in terms of youth economic empowerment, and they have even a dump site in Kajiado that we went to look at to see, can we get people to start doing segregation at this site?
And there's a caller who's called us and told us about that dump site. It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore. We went there the other day with the governor, the governor's wife, and his team and her team, and we looked at it and we started now brainstorming around what can we do. It's an eyesore. It's also a nose, so like it smells for the people around there. God. So, but because we are living there, we've even invested. We went to Ijengad, your house in Kitengela, because you thought this was the land. What are you gonna do? You can't just up and leave. What are we going to do?
And someone has
so we went and we sat there with the governor's team and we said, let's brainstorm. In an initiative called Taka ni Mali, to try and get Taka to be Mali. This Taka that is sitting here doesn't have to smell. Guys, can we get actors? As we are here, we'll give recyclers, we'll give people to take back their money. County government even gave a bin. They gave one of those movable bins. And then now we are like, okay, kazi kwa vijana, how are we going to segregate? How are we going to, you know, how many people are going to bring tons of waste for us to then turn into recyclable material? So that's part of what we are doing. We're working with Kajiado and we want to extend it to other counties as well. Yes.
So who plays the most critical role in terms of waste management? Is it from the consumer's perspective? Like, should we start thinking about segregation in our home, or should the counties be the ones that are, because if we're talking about segregation in the home, like you say, let me put plastic here, chupa here, unajua niko na dustbin moja, unajua jikoni yangu inatoshana na hii meza, kuna place tu ya kuweka kuka na fridge. So you're telling me again to do segregation, so that should be the responsibility of the county. The guys who are coming to collect garbage.
What I always say is, whenever there's a problem, there's a tendency, I think it's human nature, to look for boogeymen. You look under the bed. There's the boogeyman. There are no boogeymen in this here situation. Everybody is an actor. We went to Oktoberfest as Kenya Association of Manufacturers. We partnered with the guys who organized Oktoberfest, and we put out bins all over the place.
But there were still people throwing
we
garbage.
told guys, and we labeled inia glass, inia plastic bottles only, alafu inia organic waste.
How did it go?
Way. We found everything together,
but can you blame Kenyans?
We can't blame Kenyans. There's got to be an education program solely dedicated to waste management. It has to start from somewhere. So whether it's going to Oktoberfest and saying, you guys don't get it, people, let's go back. And countries like Japan have got it locked, man. They teach these kids from kindergarten. These kids grow up knowing, if it's glass, it goes like this. If it's plastic, it goes like this. So it's got to be something that starts being embedded dead. So you see, I'm saying it's all actors.
Have you ever
from education at home and education by the government and education by everybody else?
Have you ever driven from like Nakuru Nairobi highway?
Absolutely.
Have you seen mtu atasimama Delamere?
Yes. Yes.
Hapo kwa hizo two bumps. You know the bumps I'm talking about where there's like a toll station. Then there's those ladies who come to you, you know, trying to sell you yogurt. Someone buys yogurt. 5 minutes later, msana kunywa yogurt haraka. Wasingine wana meza. Alafu the next thing unaona tuka yogurt container come fly out of the window. Splat on your windscreen. Yeah. That person, me and their kid will be in the same school. So my mom has taught me, when you take something, garbage, you've finished using something, either dispose of it in the dustbin or, you know, put it aside if you're planning to use it again. But this one amefundishwa, akikula kitu, ana chewing gum anaeka chini ya meza. Takataka anatupa tu kila pahali. So when it comes to civic education, it need, like, really, maybe you need to get into the schools.
Yeah.
Because we're assuming that people have been taught these things at home. Na mwenye anakufundisha tabia yake ni mbovu. Hajai hata fundishwa kitu yote.
We are touching on something that is obviously quite a bigger structural problem.
Yeah.
Is the fact that education, everything is unequal.
Yeah.
The closer you are to the center of power, the more things that you get. Better education, better this, better that. But devolution was supposed to kind of help us with that problem, and we are hoping eventually it will. So that there are obviously larger structural problems at hand. But you're right that in terms of getting everybody to be aware of the value of waste, we need to start from the basics, and we need to start from educating them. We are currently actually working with some schools through the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya to start raising awareness with the children, because as you say, children grasp things faster, you know, and they'll just be like, "Mami, ule alitupa nini nasi," you know, and they'll point it out, and you can build that consciousness in them when they're young. So it's easier to educate the children. But you're right, there are larger structural problems at hand that we then, as the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, are talking to the government to try and create policies that will allow these structural problems to decrease or lessen, so that then there can be that environment of growth and increasing awareness and knowledge on these issues.
What about those manufacturers? I know we didn't talk about this, but what about, because we're talking about waste management, what about these factories that are just pumping their waste into the rivers? Are they also being told about proper waste management?
Of course, and that's part of waste management. Effluent is part of waste management, and these companies are working with NEMA and other agencies in government. What we are trying to tell government is that we need compliance support. So it's one thing to come and tell you, wewe Sheila unatupa takataka hapa na sio vizuri, unataka nitupe wapi? You know, as you say, my dustbin is one, dustbin imeja, unataka nitupe wapi? So there needs to be compliance support, and I know that NEMA has designated areas where effluent can be discharged, and they also tell you how much effluent can be discharged. But the compliance support needs to be consistent from January to December. That's why the agency is there, and I can say that they've been actually even doing trainings with some of our members, taking them for forums and training them and telling them this is the level of effluent you can discharge, and this is how you do recycling. And some of our members have actually started putting recycling treatment plants in their industries, and many have been doing it for many years. The bigger established ones, but it's the ones that are upcoming and the ones that are growing that need to now start knowing how to deal with their waste management systems. And so we are working together with NEMA and government to do this.
Are you also planning to partner with security forces and all these departments? Because I remember way back when matatus used to be stopped and guys are asked, dustbin yako iko wapi? Then they had like a dustbin hapo hanging. Then out there in the streets, it would make sense, I think, when you're walking, then imagine, I remember way back guys used to pee everywhere, but now city council used to arrest people. So using scare tactics, it kind of worked. So even now using the scare tactics in the estates, so watu waweze kuweka garbage pamoja.
Like in terms of enforcement, we leave enforcement to government and government agencies. However, it's a good point, because we have signed actually an MOU with NTSA to curb this thing of watu wakinini, you know. But there's a bigger, we want to include it in the bigger Kenya Plastics Action Plan that we are now launching in the next 2 weeks. And you guys will be invited to come and get all the information of what we want to do with this initiative. So actors like NTSA will be part and parcel of it, because they can now assist us in terms of the transport system. How do we trace? How do we, how do we become responsible for waste along the transport system?
Sally, thank you so much for coming to have this conversation with us this morning. We are so excited to see what's going to come out of this, and we cannot wait to see this initiative. And for the Kenyans who are listening, usingoje mtu akwambia ati unapatiwa fine. We keep saying it. Stop